One of the best feelings is coming back to the studio with an SD card full of amazing photos after a long day of shooting. And I'm sure you'll agree that a stunning photo deserves an equally stunning edit. And I've been using Adobe Lightroom and Photoshop to edit my photos for years. So when Luminar reached out to me to sponsor this video, I was both excited and a little bit skeptical. But here I am a few weeks later, and the only regret that I have is that I didn't start using Luminar Neo sooner. And in this video, I'm going to show you 5 features that might make you want to switch to Luminar Neo as your primary photo editing software, or at the very least, adding it into your workflow as a plugin for Lightroom and Photoshop. The first feature is called Portrait Bokeh AI. You know how sometimes you can't get close enough to your subject or shoot with a wide enough aperture to get that creamy out of focus background? Well, no need to worry, because you can just drop the photo into Luminar Neo and it'll automatically detect a human subject, and with the touch of a slider, you can beautifully blur out the background. Now, you may have seen a similar effect in the newer iPhones or other devices that use computational photography, but the reason that pro photographers have stayed away is because the results can be a bit unnatural. Oftentimes, it blurs out part of the face or the hair, resulting in an unusable image. But that's not the case with Luminar Neo. This has to be one of the best implementations of software created shallow depth of field that I've ever used. Take a look at this photo where I blurred out the background using Luminar versus the same photo using Photoshop. Notice how abrupt and unnatural the blur looks in the Photoshop version, and not to mention that it took longer to process as well. Next, let's talk about Luminar's sky replacement feature. Take any landscape photo, drop it into Luminar, just choose the sky that you like, and with the click or two of your mouse, you can replace the sky. No masking, no graduated ND filters, no CPL filters, or any of that. Welcome to the new era of photography. Now, once you choose the sky that you like, you can use the sliders to adjust the composition of the clouds, add atmosphere, adjust the lighting. You could pretty much transform any old boring photo into a dramatic and moody masterpiece. But a word of caution here. Many of these tools are so simple to use that you could easily get caught in the trap of overusing them, which will get played out real quick. But if you sprinkle it in here and there, it can really enhance your photography. And next we have HDR Merge. You can drag and drop up to 10 photos with varying exposures, and Luminar handles the rest. Traditionally, you'd have to mask out certain parts by hand or use a gradient mask to merge your bracketed exposures. But like all the rest of the AI tools in Luminar Neo, it pretty much does everything for you. The Portrait Bokeh feature makes life a lot easier for portrait photographers. The Sky AI tool is great for landscape photographers. And this HDR Merge feature is especially handy for real estate photographers. If you've ever had to shoot a real estate interior on a bright and sunny day, then I'm sure you're familiar with blown out windows and sliding glass doors, especially if your camera's dynamic range isn't so great. I own a few Canon cameras, and as much as I love them, they do have a tendency to blow out the highlights. So I think this feature is going to be real useful for all of us Canon shooters. And that brings us to Upscale AI, which is going to be a lifesaver for anyone shooting on the Sony a7S III or any other camera which has a lower than average megapixel sensor. So if I crop into a photo to reframe my composition, I'm going to end up with a smaller image. If I resize it to make it larger, it's going to become blurry and possibly even pixelated, resulting in an unusable image. The Upscale AI feature can blow up the image 2 times, 4 times, or even up to 6 times while still keeping the image nice and sharp. Even if you own a camera with a ridiculously high megapixel sensor like the Canon R5, this feature could still come in handy for you, especially if you like to create large size prints with your photography. In addition to all these features, you also have all the staple photo editing tools that you're already used to. But there's 2 aspects of Luminar Neo's design that make it a better fit for many photographers. The first thing is the simplicity of the user interface, and the second thing is that it runs on your desktop, unlike Lightroom and Photoshop, which run in the cloud. The main disadvantage to cloud-based software is that every time you move a slider or make any change, the data has to be sent to the servers, processed in the cloud, and then sent back to your machine. And unfortunately, this makes some of the functions take up to 10 times or even longer than they would had it been running natively on your desktop. Another thing to consider is that Lightroom is only available through a monthly subscription plan, whereas Luminar Neo also has a subscription plan, but also gives you the option to purchase it outright with a one-time payment. And this could be much more affordable in the long run. And personally, I prefer to own my software as opposed to paying a monthly fee to use it. Now don't get me wrong though, because I'm not at all saying that Adobe is obsolete, but many professional photographers are extremely busy and don't have the time or the desire to go back and forth between Lightroom and Photoshop to achieve what could be done with a few clicks in Luminar Neo. Now if you gain any value from this video, make sure to leave it a like and consider subscribing so you don't miss any future content. I left a link in the video description below where you could purchase Luminar Neo, or you could scan this QR code and you can get 10% off of your purchase by using the coupon code FULAN10. And if it isn't a good fit for your workflow for whatever reason, you have 30 days to return it for a full refund. And keep in mind that I only scratched the surface. Getting into all the features is well beyond the scope of a YouTube video like this one. So I most definitely suggest checking it out for yourself. If you're just starting your photography journey and you need a refresher on the basics, then I highly recommend that you watch this video next, where I go over all the fundamentals that you're going to need to take amazing photos. If you have any comments or questions for me, just leave them below. I appreciate you watching to the end, and I'll see you in the next one. It's Fulan Creative, and I'm out. Peace.